Here you're being asked to arrange the months from greatest to least. And if we look at our table, to the right side of our table, we have a set of rational numbers, and to the left, we have their corresponding months. And here we're being asked to put these numbers in order from the biggest one, the greatest one, the number has the greatest value, to the least, the one that has the smallest value. And the very first thing that we're going to do, or what I like to tell my students to do whenever they're comparing and ordering rational numbers, I like using the strategy of converting them and making them all look like money. So 398 is a perfect example of how money should look like. If you guys do the decimal, how many digits do we have to the right of the decimal? I want you guys to count them. We have 1, 2. So we're going to make all of these look like money. So this one's okay. To the right of the decimal, we have 2 digits. We have 1, 2. You guys see that? This one only has 1, so we could go ahead and add a 0, and we're not changing its value. So now this one has 2 digits. Let's go ahead and count how many digits do we have here. That's just 1, so we're going to have to add a 0. And here we have a whole number. Whenever you guys see whole numbers, I want you guys to think of dollars. So 4, we could rewrite this as 4.00 or $4. Now that we've changed all of our numbers into a form that looks like money, we're going to go ahead and just place them on our number line. So starting with our positive numbers, because our positive numbers have the greatest value, I want us to compare $4 and 3.98 cents. Which one of these two has a greater value, $4 or $3.98? $4, right? So we're going to put $4 here, and that represents the month of January. So I'm just going to put here January. And after $4 would be next $3.98, right? That would be right next to $4, and that represents the month of May. And we're going to leave our negative numbers till the end. And now we have to put them here to the left of the 0. And I'm going to pause really quick just to show you guys a number line. This is the way a number line looks. If we're to be counting down, let's say starting with 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, we're going to get to 0. I want us to notice how now it starts counting kind of almost like if it's backwards. We have 1 and then we have its opposite, which is -1. Then 2 and its opposite, which is -2. So right at 0, once we count down to 0, now it starts counting backwards almost. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. And the further we move away from the 0, the smaller the numbers are getting. So I want us to put these numbers here in order. If we see that it's starting with -1 and they're counting up, which number would be next? So let's look at these numbers here. We have -70, -60, and -1.05. Well, -60 would be next, right? So we're just going to put here -0.60, and that represents the month of March. Let me just go ahead and put a check mark next to these numbers so we'll know we've already used them. January, May, and then March would be after March. If we're counting up now going this, we're counting backwards. It would be -0.70. You guys agree? So it would be -0.70 here. And that represents the month of February. And then last but not least, it would be -1.05, which represents the month of April. Okay? So now that we've put them in order, all of our numbers in our number line, we're just going to read it. The numbers that are furthest to right, there are numbers that have the greater value, and as we move to the left, our numbers get smaller. Okay? And if we're just looking at our negative numbers, the numbers that are closest to 0 have the greatest value. So -60 is bigger than -70 because -60 is closer to 0. The further our numbers move away from 0, the smaller they get. So our smallest number from these three would be -1.05 or $1.05. Just kind of see it like that. So now we've placed them all in our number line. Our numbers that are furthest to the right, these are the ones that have the greatest value, and the ones that are furthest to the left have the least value. So we have to arrange these months from greatest to least. We're going to read our number line from right to left. The one that has the greatest value would be January, our month. So we're just going to put here January. Then after January, what would be next? It would be May. Then after May, it would be March. After March, it would be February. And after February, it would be April. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So I just want us to remember that when we get to 0 and we're putting our integers or our rational numbers that are negative to the left of the 0, I just want us to understand that the further they move away from the 0, the smallest our numbers will get. So I hope this helped.